Okay, students, so let's gonna continue. Okay, we finished with the introduction, and now let's gonna start talking about the PowerShell commandlets. Okay? That's okay. So Windows PowerShell, it's gonna help us, to automate many tasks. Okay, so the command let is gonna help us to execute commands. Okay, to execute command. So there are some alias that I mentioned, I guess, at the beginning that was created in PowerShell. Let me show you here. Get alias. For example, dir. Okay, so you know that the dir work in PowerShell. How that dir work in PowerShell? I told you that a command to display the directory folders and files is going to be get dash child item, right? But see that get alias. Get alias dir. See the output. Command type is an alias, name dir, and what's happening? It's gonna link to get child item. Okay? So in Windows PowerShell, there actually is not a dir command, right? It's not a command let dir. So it's just an alias, okay, that is associated with the get item command let, okay, just in case. So in the command let, we're gonna use, we can use the PowerShell. If you wanna use the ID, okay, to run this kind of thing here. So let me check if I'm recording. Okay, yes, I'm recording. Okay, get child items, and you can specify here the path. See that? If you execute without specifying the path, it's gonna display the folder and files in the current location. Okay, but again, you can specify the path. Okay, you can continue. See that? You can continue. Okay, specifying folder when you want to display the get child item. Okay, you can format the output. For example, get child items, the current folder. Okay, you can use, for example, the format list pipe, same thing that we use in Bash shell. Remember the pipe, grep, pipe, whatever we want to continue redirecting the output to a new command. The same thing here. So pipe format list. Okay, so it format now like a list. As you see, all the items now are displayed like a list. This is the regular behavior columns, and now if you display like a format list, it's gonna display the name, the file, creation time, last write time, last access time, everything there. Okay, this is the different formats. What else? You can use, for example, format list, and then you can use property. See that? So instead of to display the complete list, okay, with name, length, creation type, last write time, you said, I only want to display the property name, okay? And this is a new output, only the name of your file that is in this folder or the folder information, okay? As you see here in the format list, you see format list, name, length. Okay, let's gonna display the name and the length. So you're gonna display another column, just type comma, enter. So you're gonna display name and length. So what's happening here? Okay, this is a folder. This is a file. Display the length. Okay, just in case if you use Mac, you are not gonna have the length property. Instead of that, you're gonna have size. Okay, just in case. Length is for Windows operating system. For Mac, you don't have the property length. You have the property size. Okay, just instead of length, use size. Okay, another command that is gonna be really useful is gonna be, for example, here, format white. Okay, so as you see, you're gonna display that in 2 columns, right? By default. You can use the recursive just in case. So let me show you. Get items dash recurse. Include also, for example, the txt, any txt. Nothing is there. Course. Let me see to change to another folder. C, for example, Windows. Okay, it's performing the recursive. Okay, I have folders and it's gonna check inside the folders the txt files. It's continue looping all the folders. Okay, really useful as well if you wanna see inside the folders. Mm. If you can stop, you can type, you can use Control C, okay, to stop if something is continue running. Format white, for example. Format white, you can specify the number of columns for the white. For example, 3. See that? If you don't specify that, how many columns? Remember that the default is going to be 2. Yes, so you specify 4, 4 columns. Okay, I guess 3 is going to be much better to see the complete name of the file. Okay, format white, column 3, you're going to see the output in 3 columns. Let me see what else is important. before I start coding, format table, I guess so. Let me see. Instead of that, format table. Not too much difference with a regular display, right? But format table, format white, see that is different. So sometimes I like to use format table. Let me see what else. Okay. Now, everything that we are using here are objects. Okay, objects. You know what is an object, right? It's an entity. And remember in Python, we have an object, and if objects have their own attribute, right? And this object can have their own methods as well, correct? Okay, so in PowerShell, okay, PowerShell defines an object as a collection of data that represent an item, okay? Entity, item for PowerShell, everything is gonna be an item. An object is gonna be an item, okay? An object is a collection of data that represent an item. Much better. So you can have, for example, here, when you type get services, for example, get service or get process. Okay, get service, get process. So all the see that get services for PowerShell, each line that return after typing get service or get process, whatever you display, each row is an object. Okay? And what are the attributes for this object? Status, now it's running. The attribute name, the attribute display name. So how many objects do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. A lot. They have these objects have different data. See that the status is running. This status is stop, right? The name are different. So each row here is an object with their own attribute: status, name, and display name. Okay, so let me show you what I have here in my notes. Hold on a second. Just in case you are going to be able to find the file on Blackboard as well, right? In the PowerShell modules in PowerShell. Okay. So I wrote this graph here. This is the properties. Okay. Object, each row here is an object, and the group of the object, PowerShell consider that as a collection. Collection like a list of objects. Remember list in Python? It's gonna be a collection. Okay? So here, we're gonna start using the get member. The get member commandlet retrieves information about the number of objects. Okay. So we're gonna use that to retrieve information about objects. Get member. Okay. Let's gonna use an example. Let me get some space here to type. For example, let me use a console here. to use the autocomplete much better, right? Get child item. Remember you run that? Okay, all the folder and directory, right? You can specify the path. Run. See that? Less data, right? Okay. Now, you can use the get member to retrieve information about the member of the object. What is that? Let me show you. Okay. Let's go and analyze this output. Okay, get member, I told you that it's going to retrieve information about the member of objects. So here, we have the member type, code property, a method, node property, property, a script property. So the get member help us to visualize, okay, for example, the member type, definition name as well. But the member type is going to tell you, oh, okay, what is a method? Oh, we have a method create. Definition is a void create method that accepts no parameters or accept some parameter here. You have, for example, get type for sure. See that? The method, how can I know that it's a method? Because the member type column tells you that. This is a method. Get type. And what happened with get time? Type get method. Get type. Okay, just return the data type. We're going to see variables in some minutes. Okay? When we use variables, you can use the variable name dot get time, and it's going to return integer, double, string, array. Array is like a list, just in case. Something like this. Okay? Let's see what else. Okay, so you can use now get member, but now I'm gonna use the property, see that member type, right? So here space dash member, sorry, let me type here. Dash member type, enter. You can use member type equal what? Method equal property. So let's gonna use equal property. See that? Member type property. The other was methods, right? See that? So you can filter that. With that get member, it's gonna help you to filter the properties. Okay. Let me see another example. Okay. So let's gonna do some exercises here. Okay, we know how to use the get child now. Perfect. What else? Okay, this is gonna be really, really useful and really fun. What happens if you wanna identify large files? Okay, let's gonna use the command let where objects. For example, get items. Okay, get child items. Okay, you can use this command let where object. Remember that I told you that all the output is going to be objects, right? So this line is an object. So what I'm doing here is telling PowerShell, get child items, okay, get all of them, and then I tell, but show me that only where object, okay, where object is what? They told you the length be greater than this value, right? Okay, let me copy this value. And I'm gonna write the formula here. So how can you display, how can you tell that you wanna validate that the file's length is greater than this number? So you type dollar underscore. Okay, dollar underscore in this case is the variable that you're gonna use to retrieve line by line all the elements when you type get child item. Okay, and you specify here the property that you wanna use. That length. How can you tell in PowerShell greater than? Same thing that bash shell. Dash greater than GT. How many zeros? Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 zeros, for example. Don't forget to close the curly braces. See that? Only one file here, okay, it's greater than this value that appears here. How can I filter that? Using the where object. So get all folder and files. Only where the object, remember all the rows are objects, right? Remember I told you all this row is an object, 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 and so on. So what happened? When you display the get child item, you display everything, right? This is the output. And now you're filtering where object, okay, okay, length, okay, well the object length is greater than this number. Okay, so now what you're gonna do is, see that, we're gonna evaluate when the length is greater than that value, and you're gonna display, the result here. It's gonna remove 1 0 to see different output. See that? Okay. So this is the length property. As you see, we're gonna use pipe where object and the condition that you want. Always use dollar dash underscore the property. Let me see what else. You can do the same thing now, but using the last write time, for example. Okay. Remember, this one display all the folders and files, right? Now, use the pipe where object. So display everything, but now you filter. What is the next filter? Where object. Where object what? Just gonna write that. Where, remember, dollar underscore is gonna represent the current object. That, okay, last write time. When last write time is greater than, and specify whatever you want. Okay, that's gonna run. Error. Let me see. Oh, sorry. slash slash. Okay. So, for example, see that we can type here 11. Hmm? 7 here. Less 5. Yep. Okay, so this is a good practice with that. Let me see what if I have something else here. Okay, let's go stop this video and record a new one with I guess we're gonna start with programming, with receiving data. Remember print input or echo read. Okay, we're gonna use here write host to display message. Okay, and red line to receive that. Okay, so let's gonna stop this video for now.